To be honest, I don't think I'll ever forget. I've tried. It has been 13 years. But the whole thing is the whole scene is so vivid in my mind. When I was growing up, I grew up knowing that it was my fault and I'm the one who caused it for myself. Nobody was there to assure me that it is going to be okay. So I grew up knowing that this was not okay. It was my fault to the extent that I believe I was going to die when I was in class 6, when I was taught about HIV and all that. And I'm like, yeah, I was raped. Somebody had sex with me, so meaning I had HIV. So I grew up with suicidal mind. I grew up knowing that my ears were limited to the extent I had a stack of photos for my burial. And every time I go for a burial, I'm like, I know the next burial they're coming, it's fine. And I had a photo, I'm like, I don't need them to struggle. That was back in class 7.
Time. Such a tragedy. I mean, it is through time we get to briefly meet different versions of ourselves. The curious 6-year-old, restless 15, ambitious 24, pragmatic 40s, the nostalgic 70s, desperately trying to hold on to bits and pieces of all these people. Some things we forget, but others stick to mind like a parasite, slowly sucking the life from us. Mary traveled about 200 kilometers to tell me her story, or at least what she remembers of it.
Okay, that evening, it was around 6:30 or 7 p.m. Okay, I've been brought up with my 2 brothers, my late brother and now my second-born brother. And that day, having been brought up with guys, I have been more of a tomboy-like. So we were to go for some veggies in the market, and one of my brothers insisted that he had to go, but I'm like, why not me? I insisted that I had to go. So I went, bought the veggies. Then on my way back, I met this guy. As I told you, I was outgoing, so he started conversing with me. I didn't know the guy, so when we were talking, he was like, there's something I have for your neighbor that I need to give it to you. And being the naive self at the age of 10, I was still young. So it was like, if you have something, then I can just go deliver it. And I don't know, he pretended he was looking for it in the pocket, but he didn't find it. So he was like, let me go to Mama Wangare, that was our neighbor at our neighboring school. So I followed him, we went there. But before we got into the main entrance, it was like, there's a shortcut somewhere, but then we were living in Narok. So, and there are wheat plantations. So why can't we take a shortcut here in the wheat plantation? We'll go get it, and then you're going to give it to your neighbor. So I still followed him naively with the trust of the young kid. But before even we got into the place that we were supposed to be, it was in the middle of the plantation. Mind you, it was dark because it was already 7 p.m. And all I had is like, I don't know if he banged me, but I just found myself lying on the wheat plantation. And he was holding a knife and was like, if you dare scream, I'm going to end your life.
There's a psychologist, a clinical psychologist. He's called Dr. Bambari from the University of Ontario. So when Dr. Bambari was telling he was doing his research, he found different kinds of rapists. So there's the vindictive one who actually does his research. They know this woman arrives at this particular time. They already know their schedule. He passes or she passes through this road at this particular time, and they plan it. Some are situation.
Mimi niko na scenario best yangu anatoka paki wako Parklands and wanaishi Paki. Akona scenario akiwa primary alirepiwa na uncle yake. Na ili happen ilikuwa ni assist waje akiwa young, ilikuwa ina happen hadi akiwa high school. Stuff like that. Na sasa ina affect emotionally. Hiyo ndio ni touch ndio na through hiyo ndio nilijua kuna rape manze hiyo happen. Na uncle yake.
Sometimes they are compared with lions or sometimes leopards hunting. And what they do is the stronger ones will run and they always target this last wildebeest or a gazelle and they'll catch that.
You know, the fact that you get home every day, nothing has happened to you, you're lucky. Not everyone is like that. So we hear so many of these stories, so definitely no one is really safe. And we've seen people who live in slums also being affected, and also people who live in middle class areas or rich areas. So rape doesn't have class or demographic, but if you're just unlucky, you can happen to be raped.
If you're just unlucky, you'll happen to be raped. Kesho, she is right. Apart from food, shelter, clothing, and an education, you will need luck to survive every day in this world. And the concept of luck to me is one of those things that makes us human. Those things we cannot quite understand. To look at all things certain, probabilities, odds, numbers, and hope that nature delivers the unexpected. Even now, it is certain that someone will be raped. I just hope it's not you. Wish you luck.
So I was scared. Nothing like that had ever happened to me. So he took off my clothes. He raped me. I still remember the experience because it was not quite, but very painful. And after the whole thing was done, I don't think he was done because it was a nearby church there. So he had people coming, and I think he was scared that they may find him because the fact that I was not screaming, he was making some sounds and all that. So he left me there. And when I started walking towards the road, I saw those guys, the whole thing interfered with my memory. So I started calling those guys the names of my neighbors, but they recognized me, and that's why they didn't even go to church. They took me back to the house. It wasn't far from where I was raped, and that's how it happened. I was taken to the hospital. My mom was still not then in the house. So I was taken to the hospital. I can't recall much what happened there, but I don't know, they did some few tests, and that was it for that night, and I went back to the house.
There are details of this attack that Mary chooses to keep confidential, and I respect that. However, let not this important detail escape your attention. He got away with it. 13 years later, as Mary struggles with this burden, this man could actually be living a good life. With a family of his own and a night job as a security guard in your younger brother's, sister's, or daughter's school. Once in a while, feeding his urges.
I can say Sati may fail in a way, because let's say the people who practice rape, those who rape others, are you find like their uncles, parents, relatives, people whom you trust, you see? And when it happens, the society does not come out strong. The immediate people in your society does not come out strong to condemn it. They try to shun it maybe until that point imefika yenye saa hakuna venye wanaweza avoid.
Inapogundulika kwamba jambo hili limetendeka, inakuwa ni kwamba imefanywa na fulani, tukisema itakuwa inaleta bad picture. Kwa hivyo wanaficha inaisha namna hiyo.
There is that notion of trying to protect the family name. You find that even a child is being raped by the father or even the brother or the cousin, but if the child reports the case to the teacher and the teacher tries to get maybe involved with the case, the parent will be like, wachana mambo ya familia.
The perpetrator is someone well known in the family. So it's this 5-year-old ward against their 40, 30-year-old uncle.
you are raped, so you never know where to go to. Where do I go to? Who do I talk to? Where? How do I go about it? Honestly, it's rather obvious that something never really bothers you until it hits close to home, until it happens to you. That's when you'll start understanding all this. I never thought that I'd ever be a victim of rape.
Because we don't talk so much about sex in our cultures, when someone goes through a horrific experience like rape, they feel they should not even talk about it. It comes with stigma. It comes with the common statement, you asked for it. You were wearing like the wazungus, and that's why you attracted this man. What were you doing in darkness? Why were you wearing like that? Why were you talking to a stranger? Do you know the man? Why did you go to his house? Some of them just wonder, okay, if I say it, then what? Will this man go to jail? Are you going to kill him? Are you going to castrate him?
Of the cases that I've had, and for those women who have reported, there's no justice that have been found.
The law is fair to as far as everyone has access to it.
Justice system is just work. There's nothing. It's just hard to get rapists convicted of rape. It's hard, I won't lie. When I reported my case at home, I was told that I needed to report to the police station where it happened, the nearest police station. So I got there, I report. Again, I insisted on a woman cop, a lady cop. I was given a female cop, since I thought that she was going to understand my situation and try to, she would understand. The first thing which she tells me, why did you go to a man's house? Why did you drink alcohol? You went to a man's house, you drank his alcohol. What else were you expecting? So it's just hard. Imagine you have been raped, you have not even gone to hospital, nothing. You're going to the cop for the first time and you meet such a cop. How will you progress?
Porn culture, it has really
Destroyed.
Yeah, it has destroyed our
What do you mean porn culture?
porn culture, like watching porn, the way sex is portrayed in porn. I'm calling it porn culture because porn depicts sex in a very different way apart.
Is it also a culture? Because a lot of people watch porn.
It is a culture, and I think it has drawn a really unrealistic depiction of sex to men.
Hiyo naona kwa wanaume. Okay, kuna wanaume unaweza pata mwanaume hawezi kaa bila mademu kama wawili watatu. Sasa hiyo ndio kitu yenye inamvutia sasa. Akikataliwa na anajipata kwa situation kama hiyo.
It is somehow a culture in the sense that the mental disposition the men have been, let's say, cultivated in to desensitize around the issue of the sensitivity of sex. And imagine you're exposed to it consistently, it kind of numbs your senses on the sensitive issues, and that's why rape is becoming more and more an epidemic in this country.
Is it possible for
Yes.
Unasikia wasee wanasema okay, yule mtu lige, na ukisikiza stori zake anakudanganyilia tu, maybe mmetoka seminar, mmetoka mahali fulani, kwa msee anakwambia juni usiku twende tudozi kwa, unajipata umelipiwa.
The person mwenye alikuwa ananiintroduce hizi vitu zote ilikuwa household kwetu hiyo time, and this was in 1999. I remember 1999 ndio nilikuwa class 1, so I was around like 6, 7 hapo, around hiyo 2 tender age hapo hivyo. So at that moment haukuwa unaelewa kile inaenda. Actually even up to date ni kitu sijawahi ambia even my mom or my family.
I'll give you an example of one. This young man was going home. He's walking home. You're walking home every single day. And these 3 women attacked him. And what they did is they injected him with a sedative. And apparently the sedative had a sort of, like the effects of Viagra. So this man passed out, but he was erect.
Maybe uwekewe drug, lakini hii kitu ni hisia. Kuna hisia venye zinaamkaga. Hakuna msee hawezi lepu mwingine.
They had sex with him. So he wakes up in the morning and his semen is all over his trouser, and he sees used condoms. So it's like, I've been raped. And interestingly enough, every other case of men that has come has happened that way.
After it happened to me, then there was someone who shocked me. She came out like, Kumbe, it's real. Kumbe, he does this. I mean, you knew and you never even told me. Like, what's that? What's that?
I grew up knowing that I was positive, and even when the test proved that I was negative, I kept on questioning the doctors and to some extent blaming them because I thought they were lying to me.
There are other people who are asking weird questions. Are you sure is it real that you were raped? You're real. Are you sure that it was rape, like penetration totally? You don't really get over this, but in a surprising change of events, trauma is not on me. Like, I get scared for others.
I believe that by sharing it, at least I'm a voice to the voiceless, and for those who can speak for themselves, I can show them that I've been into the situation, but I'm not in the situation again. I've moved on.
So I just stopped going for night outs. These days, work home. Just that's how I live. It sucks big time. Yeah.
I'm no longer guilty, but I've accepted my situation, and right now I can say that I can live with even male. To some extent, I feared men, but I'm now comfortable even with men, and that is something I'm happy about.
For a long time I have heard this word, rape culture. And I thought, what a sad way to exaggerate a reality of life. Because rape, like all other evils, must exist for good to make sense. In my thinking, rape culture was an attention seeker's term, a foreign concept introduced to elevate the woman further up society's ladder. Now I hesitate and think that perhaps rape culture isn't about how many are raped and how many rape, but more about my inability to even consider rape as a serious issue. I need to hear from 2, 5, 10, 100 victims so that I can even begin to think of this as an issue. My ignorance as a parent, police, doctor, friend, lover, boss is a pivot that this game swings around. I now think that perhaps it has been so difficult to accept this because this term rape culture places something on me that all of us hate. Responsibility, and even more responsibility for each other. Greater yet, love. I love you, Kesho. Yours, Steve Ataro.